I gave my heart, but I'm not gonna cry. Your truth will be out there under those eyes. The public will see when your stories collide. I'll just sit back, watch it all happen when I leave tonight. I'm not the first, won't be the last in your little obsession. But I swear to God, I will leave that lasting impression. You kiss like a promise, you talk like a friend, but you break good people like it's some kind of trend. I'm not your fool, I'm not your tool. You spin your tales, I walk away cool. I gave my heart, but I'm not gonna cry. Your truth will be out there under those eyes. The public will see when your stories collide. I'll just sit back, watch it all happen when I leave tonight. One day they'll rewind all the hurt you designed, every sweet little script, every truth that you flipped. And I'll be long gone, headlights in the dark, but my name on your tongue like a brand on your heart. I gave my heart, but I'm not gonna cry. Your truth will be out there under those eyes. The public will see when your stories collide. I'll just sit back, watch it all happen when I leave tonight. I'll just sit back, watch it all happen when I leave tonight.
So welcome back for Chaos Connections Part 2. This is the continuation, the recording between Shell, Clough, and myself, discussing the events and things that took place. This is the recording after the fact that Mike had called again and to blackmail me into taking down videos that I had every right to post, considering it was conversations that he had had proving that he was actually hoaxing. Knew about it, didn't care. It was gaining him views, and therefore it was what it was. Upon him basically coming out and saying that he was going to, or he continued to blackmail me and try and blackmail me into removing videos, bullying me, I decided I had had enough. I had remained silent. He wanted to do what he is going to do, so I am recording. The following conversation is the continuation, like I said. This is part 2. There will be a third one where we actually break down the said conversation that had happened on April 4th, a half an hour prior to him going live on his Boots on the Ground. If anybody that actually watched his Boots on the Ground that night, you will have recalled there was quite a bit of confusion regarding which chat or which live stream he was even going in. And turns out, I think he might have been a little frazzled, considering he ended his live stream about an hour into it, maybe a little bit less. And I think it was just about the time that I was airing what he might have possibly thought was the conversation that was recorded. So that one will be coming up. That will be part 3, where Shell, Clough, and I actually break down that conversation and discuss it. And then the 4th and final of the chaos connections will be the actual conversation in its entirety, minus the names in which he was trying to smear and ruin. So I hope you all get something out of this, learn something from this. Doesn't matter how long you actually know somebody, people can really surprise you. So keep that in mind. Have fun with this. Thanks for being here. Okay, so the whole issue is, too, he can't be left alone. He has this extreme fear with being alone. Ever since his son, he claims that ever since his son was taken, that he had been living with his mom. But that's not necessarily the case, because there was statement that his son actually had his own place at his mom's house. That house has 5 bedrooms in it, and from what I remember, because again, we were talking about it again on the show last night. Nancy had mentioned that he sleeps in a chair by day and he schemes and plots by night. Yes, she is absolutely 100%. She knows what she's talking about. And I know a few people were like, oh, haha, that's funny. No, she is 100% truthful and accurate in that statement. He goes to sleep probably about 8 o'clock in the morning, and he'll sleep until 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. But then he is up all night long, plotting, scheming, messaging, texting, calling, doing whatever he can. I've had people go, why is he messaging me at 2:30 in the morning? And I'm like, well,
I
that's
was
the
one
time
of those
he does it.
people.
But yet, in this 5-bedroom house, there is a room for Kaylee, for his mom. Logan was staying there for a little while until Sarah was finally like, I've had enough. I don't want Logan around him. He is a bad influence on Logan. And Logan is now, from last I knew, Logan was not allowed to stay at the house. And then his son had his own room there as well. So that's 4 bedrooms. There's 5 bedrooms. Why is he sleeping on the couch? They are on the chair. They don't want him to have a permanent room. They don't want him to have an excuse to stay there. They don't want him there. They want him to get out and get his own place, get back in his own place. But he won't do it. Now, whether or not it's the fact that, and he's playing on the sympathy, that he can't be by himself, he has this extreme fear. Anybody that goes back and looks at even his Wide Open Adventures videos, you could see when he's recording, when he's doing his initial recording, he doesn't leave that front porch area. He won't leave that front porch. He won't go to the mailbox by himself. He won't go to, hold on one second. I have somebody talking. Okay, so what I was saying before, my daughter had to interject her 2 cents, but that basically he can't go anywhere. He can't go to the mailbox by himself. You'll hear in the shows, like he'll even say, "Hey Logan, come with me over here. Let's go get the mail," or "Hey Logan, go get the mail." Or I don't even know if he said it in the show, but there would be times that we would be on the phone and he'd be like, "Hey Logan, can you go get the mail? Can you go check the mail?" He won't go to go check his mail.
So
When
how
he
does he
goes,
go out in the field ever?
because he's got people in the car. That goes back to like what I was
So
saying.
that's why
Why
when
does
I
he
was
put?
saying I see a shoulder the other night and an arm, and then every time he gets out and he pauses because he doesn't want people to see what's going on in that vehicle. That's what's going on.
Mhm.
Am I
So,
right?
so for anybody that's watching that says I'm lying and I'm just jealous and I'm being bitter, ask yourselves this: why is it that when Sarah and him would go out into the field and they would go and investigate, he had no problem ever recording the vehicle? He would walk up to the vehicle, you would see the vehicle, you could see inside the vehicle, you could see as you were walking up, and they would get in, they would do their thing. But now when it's by himself, he puts the phone on the back of the vehicle and he does his stuff, and he'll even mute it. He'll mute it so you can't hear what's going on.
Yeah.
And it's facing in the other direction, so you can't see what he's doing. You can't see what he's getting. You can't see anything else. And then
Oh,
on
that's
top
why
of
he
it,
has the light. He has a light on top of that car so people can't see inside it. That's what he's doing, isn't it?
bingo, he's got the
So
light on top of the hood, because then that way when he
Ah,
does
I
flash back
always
to it,
I
wondered.
got I got two things I gotta ask. So the first question is, if he has such a was it debilitating issue or whatever. I mean, him being native, should he have access to that? Like
access to
for help?
help, free help,
Yeah.
sure does. He has a debilitating issue with
So,
doctors as well. He is terrified of doctors. He is
Oh, come
terrified of
on.
going. He is terrified of going into the doctor, to the point where it could possibly give him an anxiety or panic attack. That could. He claims that his panic attacks could get so terrible that it would actually give him a heart attack and it could kill him. That's how
well, we
bad
need
his
a
anxiety
doctor. We
is.
need a doctor to prove that because
He
my
won't
medical standpoint would totally disagree with that.
He won't take
Um,
medication for it. In fact, it was so difficult for him to even start taking his blood pressure medication. I don't know if he takes medication for his diabetes, but
but
um,
when I called him mental, I wasn't exaggerating. I was actually hitting a nail on the head. Okay, so here's another question. So, via people that sit in his lives, and I do talk to some, I heard, and it could be rumor, it could be truth. I don't know because, I'm not there watching, but because I can't stand to listen to the guy and I can't watch his shows any longer. I told you I couldn't back before we even did that first show about him. I couldn't do it anymore. But I've heard that he could have had visitation with his son, but he would have had to go get help and have a consultation for him and his son, and then he could have back some visitation. That's what he told people, but we've heard different stories from different other people that were closer to the case. I'm not going to say names because I don't want to drag other people into it that don't want to be dragged into it.
I will drag people
But
into it.
okay, you drag people into it because if that's the case, he said it was too expensive for him to get any kind of social help for him and his child. But that's a lie. It has to be a lie because he has native blood and he has access to full medical help that would cover him and his son. Am I not correct here?
You want to know the deets? I'll tell you the deets.
Okay,
Yeah,
before you
I
do
wanted
that,
this.
I gotta ask this other question then, because
Okay.
then I would never get to ask this question.
Okay.
So this is the question here. Very question here. Um, you think that he's doing all this, saying he just want to see the doctor, or he's not doing any of this stuff? You think it's because he wants to play on the drama, and then that's where he's getting his bread and butter? Maybe.
I think the
Hmm,
reason behind why he can and
all
can't
the
do
above.
stuff, all of the above. Let's see. He's playing on the sympathies of a lot of the other women in there. Is it a mommy complex? I don't know. Jumpsuit paranormal. If you're watching this right now, I know you're going to be like, no, mommy, no. But there, I said it for you. Don't say it in the show. Don't say it in the comments, bro.
What, like a
But
Disturbed song or what?
No, last night Jump kept saying no, mommy, no, and we have to keep okaying the comments because the
it doesn't.
algorithm kept picking it up as like something is a no no, and so we had to keep okaying his
Ooh.
comments, and
Yeah.
it was funny, but anyway.
So is it a mommy complex? Is it the fact that he enjoys the attention, the seeking attention from all of these other people, the feel bad for me? There would be times where we would have conversations and then he would jump into the mod chat and be like, I'm just so depressed today. After we had already had 4 hours of conversation, and I actually thought maybe he was actually going to be able to get over it and do something. Like, oh, are you going to go fishing now finally? Yeah, I'm going to go fishing. And then all of a sudden he was in the chat. I'm just so depressed today. I'm thinking about my son and things just suck. And, it's really hard. And then they would all jump in and start talking and they would be talking about him. And it's like, dude, like at the time I'm like, you got to stop feeding the demons. You got to stop feeding them that you're not going to help yourself by constantly bringing it up, and you got to work through it. And that's what I'm thinking when I'm seeing this stuff. But yeah, it's the attention. He thrives on the attention, loves it.
So
Kind of like the interview with Chris Cyrus. That's a whole nother story. Actually, let me put that in my notes. What were you going to say, Clough?
so was he ever planning on getting his son back then? Was that just a ruse just to play the drama, knowing that he wasn't going to get his son back? And he was like, playing this game with everybody else to, pity party and all that crap that he's been doing?
I think he deep down had a feeling that he would be getting his son back, because especially as soon as I got closer and closer to court, he kept asking. He goes, I don't think he wants to come home. I don't think he wants to come home. And I'm thinking, you guys have a bond. That wouldn't just break. If it's an honest, true bond that you have with your child, it doesn't matter. It's not
Mm-hmm.
going to just break. However, if that bond that you created with your child was toxic and a manipulation and not done in a parental, caring, loving type way, if that bond that you created was not actually a paternal bond and it was done out of malice and hate and trauma based, then yeah, I could guarantee that's probably what would have happened. Your kid wouldn't want to be around you because they would have realized it. And lo and behold, guess what? Let's bring this up. Hold on. I wanted to bring this up, then I can take it off stage. March 4th. That was the court. Up until March 4th, this CR for criminal case had always said non-CR, and now it said no CR, and now it actually says CR again. Last I heard, the FBI is actually involved. I can neither confirm nor deny, but prior to me leaving, he did state that the FBI had been involved and has an open case at the previous court hearing that was at the one just before this. It was a closed hearing, and he was informed that the FBI did have an open case on him. So is that why this says CR? That I do not know, but yes. FBI has an open case on Stephen Michael McKee. Comes forth for hearing the respondent's motion for visitation. So this is Mike's motion for visitation with his son.
Mm-hmm.
Petitioner is present, attorney Chris Lyons, respondent present with attorney Matt Tarvin. GAL is the guardian ad litem, Brianna Willis, present. Court conducts the interview with minor child, MC, on camera, on the record. Guardian ad litem present for the interview with minor child, MC. Court confers with counsel. Court conducts hearing on respondents pending motion for visitation. The witnesses are sworn in. Testimony is taken. Parties make argument to the court. The only thing that I could, of course, I wasn't there. I don't know. I hadn't talked to him. I don't talk to Melissa. I hadn't heard anything from Rhonda. The only thing I got from Rhonda regarding this was that it was posted in the Oklahoma Public Records and that I could actually go in and see it now. It says courts find that court's previous order for the parties to follow the recommendations of the guardian ad litem remains in full force and effect. At that time, what he had told me, the guardian ad litem's recommendations had been, was that he would not have any type of visitation or connection with his son, and that he needed to go to a counseling. Now, prior to the court order that he needed to have the psychosexual evaluation, it had only been out there by the attorney as a suggestion, but it was never court ordered. From what I gather at the closed hearing, I was informed by him that the psychosexual evaluation was dropped and that it was no longer required, but he did still need to go for therapy. And he claimed that the therapy he couldn't afford, that the Cherokee Nation wouldn't cover therapy for him because, not that it would cover therapy for him, it would cover the therapy, but they would not release any of the therapeutic records to the courts because they would not talk. They would not conduct activities with the courts. None of it made sense. None of it seemed like it didn't sit. Like, why would they be doing a court investigation, but they wouldn't work with the courts for therapy and placement and trying to put your son back with you? You would think that they would be fighting to help you. It just did not make sense to me.
Don't add up. This don't add up.
What doesn't add up is the fact that the FBI is involved. Because if he's being accused of what PRT has accused him of, that would not be a federal thing. That would be a state issue and not a FBI thing. So there is something that he's done that was, it was a big no. He did something pretty bad.
Yeah. So
could this have anything to do with why he kept saying, "Oh, I can't be caught in the woods with a woman at night"? Is this has something to do with I can't be caught out there with a woman?
What I think it has to do with is the fact that Mike likes to expose himself to people.
Oh, well, we do know that.
And I don't think when he is in his not right mind, he has exposed himself to people.
As somebody that studied psychology, hang on, Clough, I don't mean to interrupt you here, but I got a train of thought. As somebody that has studied psychology in depth, because I was going for my doctorate, it does not add up a person that would expose themselves to massive amounts of individuals and a person that is afraid and basically frail in their mind to the point they can't go out to the mailbox by themselves or go out and do anything alone, can't go to the doctor, all these things that you've mentioned. Those two things they're not cohesive. They don't go hand in hand.
Well,
so what gives? We're missing something. We don't have all the puzzle pieces when it comes to all the facade and all the pieces to Michael McKee and all those other names that he comes up with and that he pretends that he is on Facebook and YouTube, social media. I'm getting stuff off TikTok. All of a sudden, I am getting bombarded with random name accounts. Like today, it was unidentified was the name. That name unidentified has been spelled numerous different ways over the last 2 or 3 weeks. And they come and they make comments on particularly going after my photographs. And today the comment was, I guess you won't be spending money on a new camera. Doesn't make sense. So, of course, I end up blocking these individuals as they come up or whatever. But it just randomly, after we've all had this epiphany of who he is, after having a TikTok account now for 3 years, I never had problems with people on TikTok. And now, just in the last couple of weeks, I'm getting problems with people on TikTok, and they're all people that don't have pictures. Their names are random, usually something identified or unidentified to that effect, or they're an account with just a number. Just depends on how much time they feel. Usually they
Mm.
have no followers and they're not following anybody else. So it's like they come like a beeline directly to my account to raise some guff. And it's no big deal. I just delete the comments and go on. I don't care. But it's the point that why would somebody that he clearly hates me? We know that. I
He hates
never have a
everybody.
problem.
He
I've never had a problem, and now all of a sudden I got a problem only when I've got a problem with him. It's too telling. I'm sorry, but it makes me feel like I'm one of those people he's stalking.
Shell, you're not special. He hates everybody. He hates everybody just equally. He
Oh, I'm
hates
not saying I'm special. I'm not Michael McKee. I'm not on YouTube trying to make everybody love me. Do you see me going live and telling everybody you can't go watch them? You have to watch me only. You can't have friends. No, you moderators, you can't friend each other. Oh no, you don't see me doing that. Nope.
What are you gonna
So,
say, Cliff?
so my question is, talking about him exposing himself,
Mhm.
did he do that to you?
Yes,
Jeez.
absolutely they did.
Oh,
Now, now,
do tell Clough about the weenie and the prescription bottle. Tell Clough that, please.
Jeez.
now,
Do I
okay,
need to know?
now
I
he'll.
Do I need to
find
know?
it so
I will
humorous.
tell
You
you.
gotta tell a story.
I will
Okay,
tell
okay, that's
you.
funny.
I will tell you. He will turn around and say, "Well, I did it. I did it also." Well, I will. There's a timeline here, which is why when he says, "I'll drop all of the recordings, I'll drop all of the videos, I'll drop all of the conversations." Okay, then do it, because you, if he did that, people would see the timeline and the date and how everything progressed. He started to flirt with me. He started to give me this impression that he was interested in me. Okay. Desperate? No, I wasn't desperate. There were things that started to make me actually have feelings for him. When he stood up for me towards the beginning and called out Brooks and basically made me feel like he was white knighting me, I don't know. He posted in the chat that, you know, Jesse's been here since the beginning. She did this, she did that, and I'm not going to let you badmouth her and talk about her like this. And she's not a witch, and da 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 da, going on and on and on. There were many things like that. So when I say he he had my feelings, I was really thinking that he was being honest and open and sincere. So yes, there were times that I would send him a video or a picture. For example, we had this thing, we had this joke. It was between us. I thought I was stupid. I was absolutely stupid. And yeah, there would be times where he would be like, I'm in a bad mood and I'm really depressed and I'm really down. And I would be like, well, you know what? Here, this will cheer you up. And yeah, I would shoot a picture over to him of maybe my chest. Does that make you happy? Does that make you smile? And yeah, sure. There was nothing that, am I embarrassed about it now? There's a whole lot worse things that I could have said or done or sent over to him. But no, I'm not. I'm ashamed of myself for doing that. And like I said, I have grown in my relationship with God. And would I do something like that now? No. Um, I have more respect for myself now.
Mm.
I
You
would
know
not
what?
do that with anybody else ever, unless I don't even think I would even do an electronic transmission with anybody. I don't know if I would ever trust, even if I were to get married at this point in my life, a husband to not end up having some vengeance one day and turn around and try and turn stuff around.
Mm.
My trust in mankind in general has just diminished majorly. And I don't know. I'm happy with myself and I'm growing where in my path at this point, but I don't know if I would ever be able to feel secure with another human being, another man at this point in my life. That
And
is how
rightfully
much he
so.
destroyed me.
One thing I'm just putting together in that conversation last night, when you would pin him down and say, "Do you remember when you showed me this? Do you remember when you did this to me?" And it was all sexual stuff. And he would say, "No, no, I don't." But he had no qualms remembering when you had shared a picture of your chest or whatever. Um, he had no problem remembering you doing that, but he had every bit of deniance and
Mhm,
denying every incident you brought up.
mhm.
And you were pretty graphic in detail for him.
Oh
And
yeah.
if I had been a person that had done that and you were bringing that back up to me, well, you definitely gave up enough hints or clues on said incidences that you would definitely remember doing something like that. I don't care who you are. So he was completely lying. And it was very, he was like, "No, no, I don't recall that. No, no, but I do recall this." And he
Mhm.
would point it back at you. And I've said it on your show before, when you point at somebody, you usually got three fingers pointing back at yourself. So, don't go throwing rocks at glass houses, dude, because you know what? He really incriminated himself in that. If you ever release that phone call, it's clearly going to make him look so bad. And the whole blackmailing thing and him saying,
Yeah.
"Well, if you do this, it's a felony." But yet right there in that moment, he sits there and admits that he never has a phone conversation and doesn't record it. So he is sitting there threatening you, but yet admitting that he does the same exact thing. And it made no sense to me at all, besides the fact that when he was coming at you, threatening you, and when it didn't work because you just kept laughing him off, he was getting so frustrated with the phone call that he was literally starting to incriminate himself. And there for a while, when we were like 20 minutes into it, I was like, "Oh, I'm with you, Jess," because Jess was like, "Yeah, okay, whatever. All right, just be done with this. Okay, go on. I don't care about you, Mike. Go on, whatever." You know, I was with you, but then when you were doing that, he started really incriminating himself at that point, and he went on for another 10 minutes of incriminating himself before he finally decided to hang up. And you left it
Jeez.
completely on him to hang up. You did good. I'm not hanging up on this guy. I'm not doing anything bad in this conversation. You were clearly keeping it clean.
Yeah, like the right at the end when I said, "Well, I guess you need to go out do your real investigation off the trail where you get your real evidence," and he made a dig like, "Yeah, and I'll have more than 200 people in my views on my show in the first 15 minutes or 20 minutes or some 25 minutes," and I was like, "Okay,
Oh, I wanted to jump in and say,
yeah."
yes, because people want to be entertained by you, Mike, because it's entertainment. It's not real research, Mike. But
Well,
no,
Yeah,
I couldn't
and
say
here's
anything. I just had to be
the sad
quiet.
thing is, though, the sad thing is, it might not even be his own fans. It's probably just like the other channel watching, see what he's gonna do to screw up. Because I mean, it's true, they do watch, so
the
there's no and ifs and buts about it. But before you continue, I want to ask Shell this. So it's safe to assume he didn't send you his naughty bits.
it's
I shut him down before he got the chance to right away because you know what, Cliff? I've been around a long time, way before these people came around, way before Mike McKee and Josh Turner's and all this YouTube stuff. And, I was on Facebook back when there was one Bigfoot group and we only had like 230 people in that group, like at the most. That was all that was on Facebook when it comes to Bigfoot. But then, or even Dogman, I remember releasing Dogman at the same time Scott Carpenter did, and people didn't believe in that. Like we were shunned badly and harshly. The Coalition for Bigfoot had come out. That group had come out, and they were nothing but just attacking other people. That's all they were about. And
Hmm.
there was a time when finding Bigfoot made everything blow up. Like people were coming in hordes. And that's when a lot of us started branching off doing our own groups and stuff. And I went down that road of having, you know, 10,000 members in a group, and it was too much. There was too many moderators needed. You couldn't spend the amount of time you wanted out doing research because you're stuck dealing with some drama online. And that's when I cut myself way back and said, nope, not doing it. It's quality over quantity. And you could ask Justice, you're in my group too, Cluff.
Yeah.
I weed it out. I keep it right around 125 people, and nobody else is getting in. So Mike McKee was never really a member to my group. I sent him the invite. He didn't come in, and I was fine with that because right away I started seeing early on some things in his lives that weren't adding up for me because I do have a whole lot more experience than that guy. And my photography work goes back to the days when we had a I literally had a camera that had 2.3 megapixels, and I thought that was the stuff, man. It is cool. We got digital now. Um, I have work that was 35 millimeter. So him having a go at me, it's so comical. It's like, okay, what do you have, dude? You have screenshots from, people out of lies. That's all I've seen out of him. I haven't seen nothing else.
Hmm.
But so I was used to people and then coming at me. And so right away you could pick up on a tone and pick up where they're going with it. And he came right away with that whole suave, I'm a big time researcher, and he thought he was all it. And I'm like, dude, you ain't got no clue who you're talking to. But I didn't do that. Instead, I shut him down and I was like, okay, you know what? I don't play like this online. I'm all about the cryptids. You want to talk cryptids? I'm good with that. But you're not getting through this door any other way. So if you want to talk to me about cryptids, I have an account that is cryptids, Shell Kaoki Dion, and I don't play. You're going in a direction here I am completely uninterested in. So you can shut it down and, change gears here. And I can switch accounts and I can go talk to you about cryptids, or we can just call it quits right here. And he says, I'm good. And that was it. When he said, I'm good, he didn't answer back for a few minutes. I hit the block button. I've been dealing with these people and these men in the cryptid community for eons. And a lot of them are married. A lot of them have girlfriends, significant others. And I'm not about that. I'm not getting involved with people that's going to hurt other people. I'm not here to do that. I've said it all these years. You know what? I've had experience with having somebody that was in the cryptid community, and all they did was cause heartache and strife and problems by dating somebody that was involved in the cryptid community.
Hmm.
And I shut that down too. I quit that. I had to live with that person. They lived in my basement. And yeah, it was just shut down. No, I'm not doing it. I won't go that route again. Lesson learned. Would much rather meet somebody organically and not online and go about things a different way. I'm just sickened by all of this online stuff and the nefarious ways that it can go. Like Jesse saying, you know what, I don't think I could even trust a husband and share anything like nudes or something like that with your husband because this is a digital age and you could get hacked at any time by any one of these jokers, and the next thing you know, you're spread everywhere. I have to agree with her on that. I would not, I would not, I would not. So I had shut Mike down. I knew who he was. I had already gotten a warning from Bettina Moss. I had already gotten a warning from Josh because somebody was out there on YouTube pretending to be me using my name. And I had never even been in a live before. I had never watched anything where you had a live. I would pick things up as they got shared to somebody else's Facebook or whatever, and I'd be like, "Oh yeah, that's a cool show," and then share it from that. I didn't sit around on lives. I was out there getting with it myself, bringing real evidence, and I didn't have time to play these internet games and sit on YouTube and do the whole YouTube thing. That did not happen until Mike McKee's show. It was the very first show I ever sat through live, and that was this fall. Swear to God, there's a Bible right here in front of me. My hand is on it. I am telling the truth. I have never been in any Facebook or I'm sorry, YouTube Live until I was invited to Mike's show.
So I'm gonna throw this question to the both of you now, and this is something that just hit me. He's being investigated by the FBI. Why not the BIA? Isn't that the FBI version of the for the Native
Because
Americans?
yeah, the BIA already did the investigation. After they're done, they have to pass it over to the FBI. FBI then determines if they're going to close it out or not.
Hmm.
So the BIA, do they have to turn it into the FBI, even whatever their conclusions were,
Yes.
or can they close a case themselves?
No, they have to
Oh,
turn it over.
okay.
Now, why has it been sitting for 3, 4, 5, almost 6, over 6 months? Over 6 months. Why has it been sitting for over 6 months with the FBI? Why hasn't the FBI closed it?
Because they're gathering some evidence.
Were they waiting to find out what the final verdict was on this court case in March too?
I think that's probably one part of it, one aspect of it. But knowing the FBI from what I experienced, in a family member that was a member of all that, there's not going to be just one or two people working a case. Like they have many individuals working at many different aspects of any one case because they are extremely thorough.
So there could still be something to be had.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Oh, go ahead.
I mean,
I'm just saying, in my opinion, I think that there would be something more here.
if exposure is what he had been doing based on my experience with him enjoying exposure of himself to various women, then I truly do wonder. He claims that he can't be held responsible for anything that he was doing while he was asleep. However, the exposure that he was explaining to me at the time, it seems as though whether he was asleep or not, it was actually very much something that, for example, anybody that's ever smoked cigarettes, when you try and quit smoking, and anybody that has never smoked, but you might be able to kind of understand where I'm coming from. You try and quit smoking. You smoke cigarettes for so long, you try and quit smoking. You get to that point where you've given up smoking. There comes a point when you are having a dream, and it's a very vivid dream. And in that dream, you are craving a cigarette. That craving for cigarettes never goes away completely. And in your dream, you will light up that cigarette. And did somebody just bang on your truck?
It's sounds like something blew up. To be honest, I'm gonna mute it and look around, see
Ah,
what that was, because it sounded like a tire blowing out or something, which is weird because you know my tires shouldn't be blowing out. Maybe somebody next to me, or I don't know. I'll mute it. I'll be right back.
careful. Careful. Okay. Uh, I hope he's okay.
So what you're saying, okay, so I have never smoked in my life. I've never had any addiction issues of being addicted to anything like that. So you're saying that it's possible, and maybe I got you wrong, but it's possible that he was on the fence and trying to be good, and then would fall back into his old patterns because he's addicted to sexual deviancy.
Well, there's that, and the fact that when a individual is under a lot of stress and lack of sleep, which is very common with him now, I'm only assuming that it's only just gotten worse over the years and it never went away. Started somewhere. What are the chances that upon uh, having I'm not saying it did or didn't, and I could say what he absolutely told me, and I don't want to put that out there, but I have a feeling that his innocent issue with what could have been a sleeping problem and exposing himself wasn't so innocent. And it just so happened it was the wrong person at the wrong time that happened in at that time. I don't think his intentions were to have been to expose himself to the individual that was exposed, but it happened. If you kind of understand what I'm saying.
Reading between the lines, yeah, I'm getting that. I find it hard to wrap my head around all that. And
It
then
does,
my mind goes to he's sleeping. Okay, so if he did that and he was asleep, and now he is sleeping in the living room in a chair in front of
currently.
God and everybody. Yeah, currently during daytime hours when everybody else would be up and moving around. I'm assuming. Um, we know how men are, especially those of us that had young boys, and what happens when they got to go potty. I'm thinking, what kind of privacy does he have if he's sleeping in a chair? And you know what? I would have an issue. I used to get mad at my kids if they would sleep on my furniture because you
Yeah.
wouldn't want the furniture picking up an odor, and you got somebody that does not look very clean. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be judging here, but just looking at him and just the
Oh,
way he's non-shaving, non-clean, he looks very unkempt. And
his
so
daughter would yell at him all the time to go take a shower. Quit sticking your finger in the food. Quit drinking out of the
oh,
container. Don't touch your face and touch the food. Don't cook my food. I don't want you touching that because he was, yeah. Go take a shower, Dad. You stink. Yeah.
Damn.
so their
Welcome back,
house
Fluff. Everything good?
probably,
Yeah, everything's good. I
Okay.
don't know what that noise was, but something did pop, and
Yeah, it was loud.
yeah,
yeah, I heard it. So can you only imagine what their living room must smell like?
Which again leads me to him complaining and whining about how, oh my gosh, they won't let me sleep. They're cleaning and it's day, why can't they do this later when I'm not here? Well, you're always there, first of all. Second of all, you sleep during the day. I mean, it's no different than, yeah, when I have issues and I've said, maybe I should just play really loud music and like slam the vacuum around and let them know, like, hey, get up, get out of the house, go do something. Because I'm not going to sit here and just hide out in my room and although I do go outside a whole lot more now that the weather is going to get warm. But
Mhm.
anyways, I digress. Yeah, he complains that they're cleaning and they're making loud noises and he's just trying to sleep and how rude they're being. And oh, I have a migraine. It's so bad. Maybe you have a migraine because you aren't eating correctly. You aren't getting good sleep. You are up all night. You are under such high anxiety and high stress because you're constantly worried about what everybody else is doing. You're constantly worried about what's going on with you and your diabetes and whether you have cancer and you're dying and whether your sister is talking about you and whether you're, I mean, he's got all of this
And
stuff
he has no
going on and on and
hygiene.
on. And yeah, and he doesn't take care of himself. And he doesn't, I mean, even Clough was like, dude, you have an ingrown toenail? Like, how long have you had this? How long? A while? Go get a pedicure. Nah, dude, we don't get pedicures. Okay, well then lose your foot.
I
It's
was just
important.
like,
Yeah,
why
being
wouldn't
a
you?
diabetic, because I'm diabetic,
And
and
I
it's
figured,
a monthly thing that
I,
I go and get pedicures from me. And my daughter, and my daughter will say, "Mom, we got to get our appointment. You got to take care of your feet because I am a diabetic. It's controlled. I keep my stuff under control, but it's part of hygiene to do that."
well, I even told him, I'm like, yeah, you should do that. And I told Clough, I'm like, Clough, because again, I cared about Mike. I'm like, Clough, tell him that it's not a bad thing. I'm like, coming
I
from a
even,
dude.
yeah, I even told her, would you like a pretty woman to be holding your food and taking care of you and all that stuff? Come on.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
appealed to his manly side, like why would he? I mean, it's not like it's gonna be like a big old dude, like, oh, let me go ahead and get this done for you. It's not gonna happen.
Right.
It's usually a pretty woman that does it. Come on. No,
Maybe
he
that's
doesn't
what
want
he
to do
was
it.
afraid of. He was afraid of a pretty woman giving him a foot massage and doing his toes and stuff, and he'd end up embarrassing himself. I don't
Because
know.
he's a sexual deviant.
I'm sorry. That was wrong of me. I'm just.
That.
No, I thought it had truth and fact to it, to be
But
honest.
getting back to this whole like the FBI stuff,
Mhm.
I just don't think that it could be that unless he did, show his, the naughty bits to like other people online. Then that's the only thing I could think of as to why the FBI would get involved, because he's been accused of doing other things, like with whatever. But I'm leaving that to the side. But if that was really the case, that would have been a state issue, not a federal issue.
Well, everything is federal when it comes to if it was being investigated by the BIA, because that is considered federal, which is why he was trying to like throw the whole thing around yesterday, that phone call that, yeah, I go to Cherokee Nation, that's a federal offense, and you're going to go to federal jail because you released that phone call conversation. What, the conversation where you stated that you had people out there with you and they were talking and you were allowing people to believe that those were EVPs and that the sexual comments that were coming through on the phone had to have been your friend Josh Hughes because they're absolutely, he's nasty like that, and so you blamed it on him. Always blaming somebody else. Always accusing somebody else.
Oh, 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 oh. You know what? Class action lawsuit. All the followers, 30 some thousand followers, what, 31,000 followers he's got, or subscribers. Class action lawsuits. They all been duped. They've been lied to and misled. And how much money have they given? Oh, especially Larry Joe Fisher, which he said could go F himself. Um, Big contributor. Talked
What?
to about
He
this.
said Larry could go F himself?
Yeah. Remember when you said that maybe we should have Larry and his friend Rudy, which is a priest or whatever,
Oh,
pray
yeah.
for you? Yeah, you said they can go F themselves. And I'm thinking, oh, this is the guy that I see drop $100 bills and $50 bills in your lives all the time.
One by
And
accident.
yeah,
One by
yeah,
accident.
one of the $100 bills there was by accident. But
Yeah.
the point is, what if all those people bonded together and went after him for a class action lawsuit because they've been being lied to and duped?
Yep. And why did he say
That
Larry could go
that would
F
be
himself? because Larry was worried about him spiritually and wanted to pray and wanted him to have whatever was having possession over him exorcised and removed from him, because Larry was actually concerned. And then he turned around, Larry can go F himself. Yep. Just so
And
that
Larry
people,
is the
Yeah,
kind of
and
person that cares very
yeah,
much. He cares
that's
hard,
exactly what I was going to say.
and for him to say that is just, despicable on his part. He should have never be, whatever. I'm just gonna keep quiet because I don't want to cuss. But oh my God, I mean, Larry's been such a great guy. He
yeah,
treats me well. We talk a lot.
Larry is a
Uh,
sweetheart person.
Yeah,
yeah,
and
he
He
is.
for
would, I
him to
mean,
say
honestly,
that,
God, I'd give you the shirt off of his back. That's Larry.
yeah,
And Larry wanting to help somebody in some way, then Larry himself, I mean, he was not in contact with me or Jess saying, hey, you know what? I think, you guys have got some points that he's got some problems. No, it wasn't like that. Larry came upon this all on his own saying, maybe that guy's got some possession issues or something. That was Larry, a grown 60 something year old man, denoting down what he thought himself from the lives he was experiencing, and that this guy's got some issues. This guy's got some problems. Maybe we can help him. And where's the appreciation? I mean, come on. If you've got
hmm
nothing to hide and somebody says, I want to pray for you, I want to help you in some way, then what harm is there in doing that? What harm is there in saying, okay, I'm all for it. Let's do that. Everybody can use some prayer. I'm going through these court cases. I've got this going on. I've got that going on. I could use the extra prayers. I can't go
You
out
know,
to my mailbox by myself. I could
you,
use some prayer.
you know what?
hmm
You know what that makes me think of is last summer, Mike kept telling me that there was this Discord chat that people were involved in, and that in this Discord chat that I didn't know about, or neither one of us could get involved in. In this Discord chat, they kept talking about me, and I'm like, why are they talking about me? Oh, everybody's in this Discord chat, and that you're a witch, and that you're riding my coattails. I'm like, why? Why is this Discord chat so obsessed with me, though? Like, why? And he said, well, Josh is in there, and Rhonda's in there, and Barton's in there. And I'm like, this doesn't make
I
sense. Josh and Barton are in the same Discord chat. Oh, yeah, everybody. There's like 50,000 people in this Discord chat. He would just go on and on. And they're calling you a witch, and they're going to have a prayer intervention for you. And I was like, okay. And he's like, that's horrible that they think you're a witch. And I'm like, okay, they can pray. I mean, was I upset that people were calling me a witch? Yeah. Like, again, like I said in the show last night, it's it's like basically telling people that I worship somebody that I don't, when I'm sitting here and I'm trying to do things in Christ's name. To turn around and call me a witch, it's like it it's a stab in the back. It really is bad. Um,
mhm.
but
It
my
goes
point,
beyond
my
that. It gets
but my
to a
point,
slander point. It gets
but
to a slander point. I
but
mean,
my
he
point
was
was that, hold on. So my point is that they were all going to say, okay, they're praying for you. Mike was like, they're praying for you. They're praying for you. And my reaction was, okay, fine. Oh, they're going to pray for binding of you. And I'm like, well, if I'm not doing anything
binding.
wrong, yeah, to bind me because I'm a witch, to bind me and to, keep me down. Like prayer for
Ooh.
binding of, yeah, keeping me down because I was a witch, and for my fall because I was a witch. And I was like, okay, let them pray. There's nothing that they can say or do that's going to hurt me. If they think I'm a witch and that's why they're praying, that's fine because I'm not a witch, so nothing's going to happen. I'm fine.
Not going
And
to change anything about you.
right, that just means that, I mean, God knows I'm not a witch. And so
The
if they're
thing,
praying, they're just wasting their time. If anything, I would think that would give me even more good things towards me. My point is this. When Larry made the statement about Mike having a possession about him and that he needed to be exorcised and that people needed to pray. And his first reaction was to lash out and say F him and get angry and mad.
Makes
That
him
is
look guilty.
exactly the reaction that I would expect from somebody who has demonic, evil, oppression, and possession. The last thing that they would want is somebody to be praying
Yep.
over them.
Yep.
See, I was gonna ask
Yep.
I was gonna actually say two things about that, but now that you mentioned one of them, I'll just say the other thing. And it's about Larry. It was last summer too. So my GPS went out on me. Just went. That's it. Done. Over with. And these things cost about $400 or $500.
Mm-hmm.
When I had told Larry about it, the first thing he said, "How much you need? I'll cover you." That's Larry.
That's
That's
Larry.
that's
Absolutely.
the
That is
kind man right
Larry.
there. Hmm.
That
Yep.
is Larry.
He's
And he'll
I
never,
always
have
there.
heard so many good deeds that he's done for many people. I mean, some of these people he has literally spent like 5 digits on in 1 year's
Hmm.
time, helping them survive whatever terrible trauma they're going through to
yeah.
make their life better, even though it would cost him and his wife in the long run. He was willing to budget harder and help that other person survive their traumas. And
Hmm.
how could
And
you hate or say F you to a person of that caliber that really will go out on a limb for anybody? I mean, you would have to be a cold hearted person to have hatred towards Larry Joe Fisher. I mean, he literally will help anybody. And
him
he
and his
has.
wife, I mean, talk about a saint. His
Yeah.
wife has,
Yeah.
I mean, she's even, I don't know, as a wife, I mean, some of the stuff that she has had to give up because he has wanted to help people, she has actually stepped forward and has said to him, no, we need to help them. Then,
Yeah.
if that means I have to go this much longer without such and such, then I guess we're going to do it. I mean, they are truly just
True Christian people. They
blessed.
really are, just
Hmm.
like the OCST people,
Yep.
the Oklahoma Herald and Christie, true, real people
Yep.
that have nothing to hide, have no airs to put on, and are just open books. And we are who we are,
Hmm.
and we're going to help anybody in need. Those kind of people, they don't come a dime a dozen. And if you're going to make enemies with those kind of people, that says a whole lot about your mentality.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yep. And he doesn't,
And Larry doesn't
that's,
get anything from me. I mean, you really think about it. He's been accused of like, oh, you do things for something in return, but like, what does he get from me other than just conversations? There's nothing that I could do to help him in any way. I can't deliver shingles for him, in my truck. I'd be like, hey, I'll say that a few of these, shingles fell off. Go ahead and take. Like, I can't do anything. There's
right.
nothing that he could get from me, but he goes real quick to lend me that money.
Yep. Yep. And share a burger.
It's
Go
the
out for a good
same for
burger.
Club. It's the
Oh
same for
yeah.
me, Club. All I have to offer Larry is my friendship. And when my son passed, you know what? He was the first guy to call and say, "What do you need? What can I do? How can I help?"
Hmm.
He was right there, 100%. And I was like, Larry, your friendship, it's all I ask. It's all I need. And he still sent me a donation check and gave to the donations to help with his, final expenses. Larry was right there helping, along with many other great people. But, at that point, I didn't know Larry as good as I do now, but he really didn't know me that well, but he still reached out, and he's an amazing guy. If you're going to cut your own throat by not being friendly with Larry, I'm saying you got some major mental issues.
Yeah.
This is true. Very true. Um,
So So I have another question. Are we gonna review that video? I mean the recording.
I was looking for it in my stuff, and I would like to. However, there is. Let's see if I can
Do you
find.
want me to resend it?
Yeah, could you?
Sure. Hang on just a moment. I'll be
Uh,
away for a minute.
but move tab. I'll pull this over here. Sorry, working on this. See if I can get this up. Um, one of the other things, I don't know, did we touch on this? The counseling, being able to afford it. I know you wanted to
Ye-
talk about that.
That was the the whole thing that he has like benefits from the
Yeah.
whatever nation.
So he has benefits from Cherokee Nation. He
Cherokee Nation.
is, yep, he is supposed to go in and have a therapy, even though that's the other thing that I wanted to talk about too. So the psychosexual therapy, psychosexual evaluation was supposedly dropped, but he's supposed to go in for therapy. He's supposed to have some type of a counseling done so that he could be reunified with his son. The last
Mhm.
I heard. Now, as of that report, there was nothing in regards to needing. Actually, I want to bring that back up because there was nothing in there regarding him going for counseling or therapy. However, there was something in here I wanted to address, and that is this last part. It says court orders parties to refrain from mentioning and exposing the minor child online. Parties are
Mhm.
advised that they are responsible for ensuring third parties do not mention or expose minor child online. Mr. Lyons prepare the reflective of today's decision. Court orders JOPC. Guardian ad
What is
litem,
that?
full force court notes exceptions. Okay, so there's some type of exceptions that they had agreed upon. The guardian ad litem uh, recommendations from the guardian ad litem is in full force, which was like I had said. He basically does not get to see his son without any type of supervision, or he has to go for counseling. What is a JOPC? I will bring that up. There is one other thing too that I wanted to bring up about that, but the counseling in regards is, uh, a, yeah, I had stated that they said that they wouldn't pass over the info. He said they wouldn't pass over the information from Cherokee Nation to the courts, even though that doesn't make sense because the courts should have access to, especially in a custody case or cases when it has to do with custody of a child, especially when it comes to uh, Native children in Oklahoma, because their whole thing is that they should be able to be with both kids or both parents. Sorry. The other
Mhm.
thing that I wanted to bring up, and I'm going to put it on here, is the discussion about that psychosexual evaluation. Um, the PSE, and I want to just pick a note in here so that I don't forget to bring it up and talk to you guys about it because there is something that is very important that I need to actually share.
You
So,
got
quick
mail.
question: that psychosexual evaluation, is there anything there to warrant said psychosexual evaluation in his
Well,
particular case?
from my experience with him, heck yeah.
Well, yeah, but I meant like,
But
and I guess pertaining to his case.
uh, possibly.
Hmm.
But there's information that I haven't told you, Clough. I think Shell is aware of it at this point, but I haven't told you. So I would like to not just tell you and get your blind reaction, but I guess everybody who sees the show will also have that blind reaction, which uh,
And would it be legal for you to do this? Just before anything, I just want to make sure that you're crossing your
nothing
T's and dot your I's in this whole thing.
nothing illegal about what I'm going to say, but the legalities for other people, hmm,
Mm.
What is a JOPC ordered?
Because when it comes to a lot of this stuff, there isn't that much information. Just I do know one group of people trash talking, and it's been trash talking from all sorts of people, but
Oh,
nothing really to really back it up until I
the
guess.
psychosexual evaluation could probably be a show all on its own. So we'll see. What is a JOPC? A JOPC is a where'd it go? It's typically ordered in regards to divorce cases when it is
Mhm.
first starting in custody, regarding the protective orders, probation from contacting. Uh, let's see. Let me go back in here. I'm gonna pause. Okay. JOPC is a judicial order of proper conduct. Basically, I'm going to read this right from the internet. In typically divorce or custody issue. Excuse me. Oh, custody issues. It's a court issued directive that outlines specific behavioral guidelines that parties must follow during the legal process. The order is commonly used in high conflict divorce cases or custody disputes to ensure that both parties conduct themselves appropriately and do not engage in actions that could worsen the situation. The JOPC can include provisions such as no disparaging remarks about each other, restrictions on communication, and other means of to protect the well-being of all parties involved, typically for the child. That also includes things as far as who the other person is having relationships with. They can't be around their children. They can't be trying to connect or defame other parents, or the children, or other people online, which would also, I would think, extend to people such as or include harassing or having, especially having other people, third parties, harassing the exes, such as when Mike was having me harass Rhonda and Melissa and the kids. So that's where that other part of the reading came in. Must refrain from having third parties. Which, yes, he did. And I even contacted Melissa afterwards, and I told her that I would be more than willing to testify and pass over all of the messages to show. And yeah, I did send Rhonda screenshots of messages in which he openly admitted, she has those, openly admitted that he was inciting anger and violence within the group, particularly with Nancy Swecker, which she has apologized to Rhonda as of last night because now she understands and sees. But um, and and I'm putting this out there too. Rhonda has had this. Rhonda has had these messages.
Mhm.
If Rhonda was the evil, vindictive, manipulative, horrible person that Mike has everybody believing she is, why wouldn't she have put that out there? Why wouldn't she have made a statement? Why wouldn't she have brought that out and exposed him when she got that? Because she's had that since February. She's had that since February 1st. If
Mhm.
she is such an evil, horrible person, why didn't she do anything with that? She had that screenshot that shows him talking about going after, manipulating them, getting them to blame Rhonda for bad stuff on John Smith's page, and going after her and attacking her and destroying her. It would make her sick, he said. And I said, how is that going to help you get your son back? Well, it's not, but that's not the point. The point is to destroy her. He has nothing but hate and vengeance in his heart. And if Rhonda was seriously this horrible, vengeful, terrible person that he portrays her to be, Why would she have sat on that for 2 months?
Hmm. No
All month
clue.
of February,
Other
all
than
month
that,
of March.
she's not what he's claiming her to be.
No, she's not. And what's unfortunate is that I do believe that those binding ties that Mike has on so many people, I believe that he has the same choking binding ties around his mother. And that I pray for her all the time that she finally sees the truth and allows Rhonda back into her heart and her home, because a mother should not. I get children all the time turn away from their parents and walk away, and that's their decision. But as a parent,
Hmm.
I don't understand how any parent could. I
What
don't know. I don't
if
know.
the reason being is because Mike is there, and it's better that she stays away because if she shows up, Mike will have a fit, and you know.
Maybe baby K is doing that to protect Rhonda, and I don't know. I don't know the reasoning. I do know that all I know is what Mike has stated, what Mike has told me. I do know that Kay had came into the chat that night that I did the video, and she was really just harsh. Um, very harsh. And I don't know if she still goes under Silver Bullet. She might go under one of Mike's fake accounts now, which is why he made his other fake accounts moderators. I don't know. Maybe she's using those now. I
Hmm.
I couldn't even tell. I don't know. I don't watch any of the shows, so I don't even know if Silver Bullet is still popping up in there, if that's her or what. But I pray
The
that she
sad thing,
actually mends mends
mm,
with her daughter.
yeah, and the sad thing is all the stuff that's been talked about and all that's been brought up, about the kid and all that. Unfortunately, both sides did their dirty deed in this whole thing. Maybe this thing is most definitely has gotten out of hand. I mean, I watched when Josh came out and said what he said, or actually technically it was Anthony, not Josh, but coming down saying what he said about Mike and child in question, and there was no reason for it, and I still think that was the most egregious thing that both the mom and the aunt here could allow, regardless how they feel about Mike. That is still a dirty thing because guess what? The internet is forever, and what information has been said about the child in question or the minor in question, it's always going to be out there because
Yeah.
one side hates the other side.
Hmm. It
And don't
is.
get me
It is.
wrong, I played into it too. I got upset and I said
Yeah.
a lot of crap too.
Yeah.
But at the same time, look at how it all came out. Came from one side, and then Mike will react, Mike will say something, and it's back and forth. And we were just reacting to both of them if you really think about
Hmm.
it. But in the end, it's such a dirty, disgusting thing. And what was the whole point? Like, what was the whole point? I mean, no one. I mean, maybe Mike benefited from this, but I'll tell you one thing: PRT did not.
I don't think any of them benefited from any of it.
I think that Mike got a little bump in the views and stuff like that helped, which is
Was that worth
probably.
it? I mean,
Maybe to Mike, maybe because it's money. But the thing is that those little bump in views and stuff like that, it was probably just PRT just wanting to watch, and not even just people in PRT, but people who watch PRT for the sake of just watching it, and they're just catching the drama back and forth. I think that's it. That's all it was.
mm,
Because honestly, Josh lost a lot. Unfortunately, that's just how it is. That's a true statement of fact. He lost out more, and Mike probably
I
lost
think
a
a
little
lot of
bit on top
people
of that.
did,
Yeah, but
myself
I mean,
included.
yeah, a lot of us did, and but like Josh, for example, I mean, the guy was raking in over 1,000 viewers on his live show, and I doubted that's like, Mike and some of his people just there trolling, because the trolling wasn't a thing back then.
Mm-hmm.
But he gets involved for whatever reason, which I think was a stupid reason either way, because he's down to like what, 400 or 500 on a good day, and that's rough. And Mike,
Well,
you could probably gain like a couple, maybe 100 viewers, live viewers. It's just,
yeah,
this whole thing is just a mess. This
I
whole thing is a
really
mess.
do. I do wonder where his increase in views and subscribers is coming from, because it seems like, well, okay, I don't know. Again, I don't know since I left, but even when I was there for the last 2 years and the growth that had happened and increased, especially over the last year, because I even told him he didn't think he would make the 30,000 by Christmas. And I was like, I guarantee you're going to have 30,000 by Christmas. No doubt in my mind. He was growing and growing, and he had this doubt. Well, even with the increased subscribers between the end few months of last year, there were very little to none new commenters.
Yeah.
Where are all the commenters? Where's the chats coming from? And the views themselves, even though the subscribers have now increased by like 2,000, 3,000, the algorithm, or the views themselves, if you were to take the last year to 2 years, they're the same based on his boots on the ground and his sit downs. They may have increased slightly, but otherwise they're the same. He has good nights and bad nights, but it's not like he went from, you could see a gradual increase of 1,000 or 2,000 views one night, and then 6 months later, now it's 5,000, 10,000 views. It was staggered all over, and it was the same for the last 2 years when it came to his boots on the ground. So if you are getting so many more subscribers coming in and following you, shouldn't those views also be increasing?
Yeah, that's
It
true.
didn't make sense.
That's what I said last night.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think he had said something about that, that whatever subscribers amount you get, you only get so many viewers out of it. And I'm
Mhm,
just kind of like, doesn't make any sense, because I mean, if these people subscribe to you because they want to watch you, I mean, you should at least almost hit your subscriber count. I
mhm,
mean, let's say Josh, I think the last time Josh has like what, 48,000, you think you hit like 30,000 views, but then doesn't have that. And
mhm,
then Mike over here will have like 30,000, or what was it, 30,000? Yeah, 30,000 subs, and then sometimes he'll hit 20,000, which is interesting, but his
mhm.
sit downs don't get that. So it's like, well, I mean, I don't know. I just think it's weird how this whole, you know, the way it was explained and how it's playing out. I don't know. Something ain't right. That's all I'm saying.
Well, the other situation is that, you know, even from the beginning, he's like, oh, once you start getting into YouTube, you're going to become obsessed with it. And I'm like, I don't want to be obsessed with it. I don't want to. And I said that from the very beginning. I don't want to be so obsessed with YouTube that I lose reality of everything else. YouTube is not my life. And he goes, nope, YouTube will become your life. No, I don't want YouTube to become my life. And I still stand by that. I still don't want YouTube to become my life.
Hmm.
Um, but he pretty much made it clear, that phone call last night that we had too, when he tried to make that dig at me about, oh yeah, I'll have more than 200 something views in 25 minutes. I don't care. This is not my life. This is not my this is not my career. I have a job. I have a family. I have friends. I have things that I actually enjoy doing off the computer and offline. And yeah, am I videotaping stuff that I'm doing? Like I was gonna go fishing tonight too, but and putting that on my show. Sure, it is
You should
Arcane
do, you should do that.
Adventures. It is Arcane Adventures, anyways, right? Adventures. It could be anything, any adventure that I go on. That is going to be my channel. Investigating other stuff, yes, but do I care about the views? No, I don't care about the views. I care about the people. I care about the people that are coming to watch my content. I care about making sure that they are seeing stuff that is true, honest, and me. Somebody made a comment about the video that I put out when I had done when I took Danny to the hospital. Honestly, the only reason why I put that video out was it was me. It was our interactions. I went back and I was watching it. I laughed. I thought it was funny. Why
Yeah,
not share it with somebody else? Maybe it'll make somebody else have a good day and giggle and laugh because, I mean, honestly, she is quite funny.
she had her
But
moment, that's for sure.
but that's the kind of stuff that I want to be able to share with people because it's not about the views. I don't care if it got one view and that one person just said this made my day. And it was enough. I got a message last night that said, you know what? The video that you guys put out, it actually spoke to me. It was almost like that message was for me. Well, you know what? That means that it was worth it then. If that message got through to somebody else out there about God and how powerful he is and what we need to do and keeping him in our hearts and whatever that message came through to that individual, if it did something and spoke to them and helped them in any way, then good. Then that's it. I don't care if I get 50,000 views, 100,000 views, or 2 views. What matters is the people, and that's it. So Mike,
Absolutely.
Mike,
Amen to that.
Mike can take his little comment dig that he made on the phone, and he can just. 'Cause I don't care,
You can
and
stuff it.
I'm definitely not doing this for him. I might have started out doing this for him, but I'm no longer doing anything for him. So, that being said, did you send it back to me?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. I want to see if I can pull it up. Anything else that you guys want to talk about? Otherwise, I have 2 other topics in here as I pull up the recording.
What are the other 2 topics?
Shall we talk about the psychosexual evaluation?
Yeah. Jeez.
Ooh, is that your stomach? No, I'm just kidding.
Ah.
Truck or something.
Yeah, someone's using like engine retarders on the in the truck stop, which is stupid. Like you're, anyways, whatever. People be stupid.
See, that first one didn't come through, but yes, I got this one, Shell. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let's see if I can download this. Okay, so the psychosexual evaluation. When the psychosexual evaluation was originally brought up, it was brought up as a suggestion for him to do, and the judge said no. As time went on, it started to get pushed a little bit more, and then finally the judge ended up ordering it. And yes, it was shortly after the affidavit came in from PRT. I come to find out after the fact that Melissa had no idea that PRT was writing that affidavit. That by them sending it in, that was kind of a slap in the face to Mike to say, hey, you know, we're going to do this. And there's nothing you can do about it. And that's why they sent it in to the judge directly. Was this evaluation set up because of that solely? I I do believe that because it was all kind of in that time frame, hand in hand. I think in the long run, that evaluation may have been dropped because of the affidavits that I had written and that came in afterwards. Not sure, not certain. Or it could have been dropped because of all of the chaotic BS that had been occurring over the last 2 years, and the judge was just finally done with it. Do I believe that Mike should actually have a psychosexual evaluation? I'm going to refrain from saying anything further other than anybody that knows what one of these evaluations actually is and partakes of. There are different sections of it. The one section of these evaluations consists of a various amount of questions in different forms. Typically, they are of all, some of them are not of any sexual nature, some of them are, and they will ask these questions in all different ways and all different patterns and all different aspects. There is another section of this evaluation in which it's kind of like a lie detector test. They will, and now I don't know if this is still something that is done in this way, but the way that occurs is they will put up photos, and I do personally believe that this is horribly terrible to put anybody under, and nobody should be put under this type of a test. They will put up a series of photos on a computer screen or whatever, TV screen, and they will flash it in front of the person while they are hooked up on something much like men, while they're hooked up on something much like a lie detector test. Does the heart monitor, the pulse and stuff like that. Only the pulse is not based on your heartbeat pulse. This monitor is hooked up to the genitalia, and it gauges the reaction based on the photos.
But like, isn't that kind of weird though? Because what if he's all into the touching and then
That is why they do these tests, because there's going to be some type of a reaction from a man regardless. Even if you are trying to hold it back, something is going to trigger it. Something is going to, between your heart rate and, I mean, guys, can you control what is happening at all times down there? I don't know. And I'm not
think
asking for Clough to say anything, but
no.
I think that is obscene and horrible, and I honestly do not think anybody should be subjected to that. That is absolutely disgusting. That though, that right there, I believe 100%. I could be wrong, but in my belief, I believe that is why that other group that was pushing for it so dang hard, I think that is why they were getting so excited about it. That is why they wanted to push it so hard, because they wanted him to have to go through that.
it's more so like a humiliation kind of thing, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why I was just kind of like, because from what I heard, it was Anthony and Maddie that kind of wrote these affidavits and stuff, and it's just kind of like, and what real way have you have any like actual interaction that is not like YouTube or Facebook? Like these people who have no real like they don't know him. They really don't know him.
Heck, 2 years. Apparently, I
Yeah.
didn't know him very well either. And I kid you not, people, I could give you the phone records. Every flippin' day for anywhere from 5 hours to 15 hours a day.
And then, I mean, and also, what if this whole FBI investigation that's going on is actually going to be going into that? Because then when they realize, like these people don't know Mike, so are they just going in there to say this just to mess with this guy's case? That's also another possibility, because since we don't know any details why the FBI is involved, these people could have really screwed themselves by doing that. Because I mean, involving yourself in lying into a court, that could be an issue.
Well, there's a
From my
lot of
understanding, that's a federal offense, ain't it?
there's a lot of lying, there's a lot of manipulation, there's a lot of bad, bad, bad stuff that's been going on many people's parts. So let's talk about the first part of that
Mhm.
psychosexual evaluation. That first part.
Also,
Go ahead.
before you continue, I just want to I just let people know this is not like, oh, got you. It's actually legit, like, how can you say? It's like something to really think about, because that is something that they got themselves involved in,
Mm-hmm.
which can have repercussions. Everything has repercussions. There's
Mm-hmm.
consequences, and for them to butt into to his, yeah, I guess, private life like that, and the courts and all that, and God only knows what they put in there and what they said and all that. And there's like no way to really prove it. It's just really hearsay, but at the same time, it's hearsay from people who never met the guy.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and just food for thought, I guess, just for them to chew on. That let's just, in this case, I'm just hoping for the best, that nothing happens. I mean, regardless of how I feel about them, stuff like that. This is pretty serious. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Well,
no one needs to go to jail or anything like that over this kind of crap. But just
I think at
just to
this
think about it.
I think at this point, any type of investigation that the FBI currently has open is still stemming back to the first original, maybe open. I don't want to say charges because he's never been actually charged, but the original case at So Be It. Um, but I mean, like I said, in the very beginning, that case was set up, or that court hearing was set up as a CR, a criminal case.
Mhm.
After that, it was non or no criminal. And now this final one that is supposed to be, like, I mean, is it closed? Is it done? Is it final? It's still sitting there.
Yeah,
As long as his son is still a minor child, that case is still, it's, it's still out there. It's not
yeah,
like they can't ever revisit it. So he basically needs to
and that is a
CYOA.
possibility. Yeah, and that is a possibility too. That it's just like that. We just
Mm-hmm.
don't know exactly because we don't have access to those records.
Mm-hmm. But I will tell you this. So when he received the original order, or actual order from the court that he had to go in and have this done,
Mhm.
well, he went back and forth trying to see what he needed to do, because this was it. And he's asking my opinion. Do I do it? And it's like, I hate to say, yeah, you have to do it, because I didn't want, like I said, I don't think anybody should be exposed. That's humiliating, to that kind of a test. And he was he was beside himself, didn't know what to do. And who did he reach out to? He reached out to somebody that uh, he has known for a long time, that has a background in psychology. And that individual gave him the test, the written test of questions. That individual gave him information that stated that the second portion of the test that I was referring to is not supposed to be done any longer. I gave him other information regarding this psycho. I'm just going to call it the SE or PSE from now on, because otherwise, if I keep saying the other word, I'm sure YouTube is going to end up like my show. So the PSE test. Um, when I tell you I spent the next 6 hours on the phone while Mike went through every single one of those questions and then asked me what I thought of what those answers were for each question he asked, I am not kidding. 6 hours I sat on the phone with him while he went through every single question, and then he answered it, And then he asked, "What do you think? Is that good? Is that good? What do you think? Do you think that's good?" And I understand, like, out of curiosity, people would want to know, like, what kind of questions are there? Like, what are they actually asking you? If you could think of anything that, I mean, yeah, it's anything from, is it okay to kiss on a first date? To, uh, a girl says no, but she's just teasing, to other things. I mean, there is a vast spectrum of questions that are going there. Is premarital sex okay? I mean, there is I everything that you could think of when it comes to a personal relationship, a friend relationship, a family relationship, and knowing that this test is testing the PSE. Um, it is weird to answer those questions and wonder and question, like, how could they possibly twist this to make it into something that it's not. But the worst part about what I'm trying to get across is he received this actual test, all of the questions, from Janice Blake. She gave him the test, gave him all of the questions, and I helped prepare too, I guess, because I sat there and listened to him go through every single one of those questions. But anything that he had to further ask, he went right back to her so that she could coach him and tell him how he needed to go forward with any questions that he had and how to deal with them. Tell me that is not, I mean, she gave him the test.
Mm.
I just don't understand why. I do struggle with this. Why, if he has nothing to be concerned about, why was he concerned? And yes, some of the answers that he gave were very thought out, very, like he was afraid of answering
Isn't
them.
that unethical on her part, though, as a
Bingo.
medical practitioner, as a medical, a person that knows and has taken an oath? You have a level of professionalism that you must keep. And for her to go out there and do that, she was really putting herself in a predicament.
Bingo.
Um,
But she's also one that continued to stir up drama for him, even when there was supposed peace. She's the one that continued to stir up problems within the moderator group, I mean, she's the one she's
but
been
didn't
there.
I get accused of that? Wasn't I supposed to be breaking up his lives and all his people? Wasn't it me?
No, she's been causing problems with other channels when there was supposed to be peace, because Mike doesn't control her, but she does all of this stuff for him.
Sounds
Still
like she needs
apparently
to
does.
psycho-evaluate herself, and she needs to be taking those tests herself.
Mm,
If she cares about Mike, her going out of her way to start all this, trouble and drama and all that stuff. I mean, all it's really doing is just bringing more problems to Mike.
mm-hmm.
What is the point of causing all these problems on his behalf, thinking that you're doing something good for him, when in fact
Attention.
it just
It's
but
still getting him attention. All of even the bad publicity is still good publicity. I'm sure
yeah,
people are still going to go over to his show and just be curious and want to see, regardless. I, I mean, and if they want to go over there and, as like Batty says, see that dumpster fire, yeah. Um, I think it's sad. Did he have potential? Yeah, he did have potential. But do I trust anything that comes out of his shows or his lives or his investigations now? No. Not after
Ooh,
knowing what I know. Not
and
after
then
knowing that he manipulates and he twists stories and he makes up stuff. No.
okay, so now I have another question I want to ask, and it's going back to his supposed condition that he's having. For someone, yeah, he might have somebody nearby, but he can't control whatever happens at night when he's out there wandering in circles, whatever the heck he's doing.
Mhm.
Wouldn't that also cause him more issues, really? Because I mean, if he's suffering from this condition, it's to the point that's debilitating or whatever. Um, why is he going out there? Especially if he thinks that someone's out there to get him or whatever the case is, and there's hooks on the trees and people are trying to get him. You think that that would be something that like will be an issue where he's like, okay, I should not be out here doing boots on the ground. You think that his condition, that his mental health or whatever he has got going on, would be like, I need to stay home because this is too much.
The attention that he gets in the lives, the attention that he gets afterwards from all of the people, that would be my only thought is that
Then
he
if
is thriving on all of this external attention that he is getting. Because
then that means
obviously,
that if he has a mental health issue, regardless if he's getting attention or not, that condition should be to the point where I guess he shouldn't be doing boots in the ground. But if he's doing this because he's getting attention, then it's just like, dude, like you're making a lot of claims that you were saying that sometimes he has to take Logan or somebody out there with him. I mean, is it because it's assurance that they will lock him out, and that's why he has somebody there with him that needs to go back in the house?
I never even thought about that. Because yeah, because too, there's been times where he's gone out and he needs to be back because he doesn't even have a key to the house. So if they lock the door on him, he can't get back in. So
Yeah,
maybe that is the case. Maybe he is afraid of being locked out, and by having them with that he's
and maybe
guaranteed a way in. I don't know.
yeah, and maybe that's why he has somebody there with him. At least, well, they need to get back inside, and that's his key basically.
Maybe he should just focus on fixing his place up and move out on his own and start his own life away
Yeah,
from harassing everybody else. But
yeah. That right there, just something that I was just thinking about because it's just kind of weird for someone to he's got help. I mean, he's native, right? So he can get help, but then he's not getting the help. But then he wants to be out here doing all this other stuff, and but he's claiming that he has this. I don't know. It's just, to me, it's just way too much of like everything going everywhere. Like it's sporadic. It doesn't make any sense what he's saying, what he's claiming, and all that, and what he's doing.
right. Yeah, I honestly I don't know. There's so many things with him that just don't add up. And it's more now that I'm looking back on a lot of the stuff that I'm like, there are things that do fall into place and there's things that don't fall into place. And I really didn't.
And you know what? I was just thinking about this too, because Larry being, a roofer and all that, if his house or trailer or whatever had like a roof issue, you think that he will ask Larry for help on that so he can get an estimate. I mean, he's
It's
been like,
beyond. It's beyond just the roof at this point because the roof has been off for so long. That was the other question that I just didn't understand when I was talking to him about the place. It sounds like there's a lot of damage within there to the point where he didn't know if he should just gut it and redo the whole thing from the floors up, or if he should just take the whole thing off and replace it with something new. And he struggled with it because his father and him put the floors in So there was like that sentimental thing for that he didn't want to get rid of. But
I mean, at this point, he might
if
as well just
it's
get rid of it if it's that bad,
if
and
it's
just
that bad, yeah.
yeah,
But
just go get himself a little trailer. You know, those little mobile trailer. He's got a truck. He could probably, pull about a couple thousand pounds with that. You get a
but
small little trailer, live in there.
he
There you go.
he also doesn't have the money at this point. So when he had to hire his attorney, his mom and sister and everybody they sold everything they had. I mean, they went down to almost the bare minimum of stuff because they needed to come up with the money for the attorney. So now court's over. They don't have his son, and they don't have any of the stuff that they sold, and he still owes money on his attorney. And for what? Was this all because of, and this is the thing, was it all because of Josh? Was it? But was it? He claimed that Josh sent Melissa and Rhonda money for the attorney to go after him, to have his son removed. Like, he went through all of these different stories and scenarios. And what I think is funny is that I received a message yesterday stating that Mike has told people that I gave money to. Okay, I need to reread this message because I don't want to get it wrong. I was giving money to somebody else to attack him. Hold on, I'm going to pause.
Jeez.
Actually, if you guys want to talk, let me look this up if you have anything to say. But otherwise, I want to look this up. I want to see what it was again.
Hi, Shell.
Hey.
Talk amongst yourselves. I'll give you a topic. I don't
I
have
don't know. It's just this whole thing is insane. I mean, from the involvement of PRT, Mike's behavior, this whole thing with you. Oh my God, it's just it's a cluster flippity floop.
It sure is. It sure is.
Yeah.
The only thing that really bothers me, really, I mean, is that I regret doing those shows for him. I don't want my name anywhere around his. Now that I realize and know what a hoaxer he is, I
I did.
regret so much. And I said this was like, Dana would have to do a whole lot of jumping through hoops to ever get me to follow anybody again or help them.
I don't know. I did like my little geek out that I had out there with one of his shows where I was just geeking out about Marvel and stuff. That was great.
Oh, and I think that's what everybody loves. I would love to do like shows like that where we talk about that. I mean, heck, we were having an awesome conversation the other day about the fallen angels and
Oh
the
yeah.
difference with the. Yeah, I mean, I would
You know, the,
love to go into depth on that.
I hope you remember some of the things that I was saying because I had like one eye already closed, the other one was just hanging on for dear life, and I was already just so tired.
I don't know. I'm sure I could go. Well, maybe go back through the chat. So we've got quite the few chats in between there. I'm sure I could find it, figure it out. At least some of the topics that we were discussing. I do remember though that because it was in with the aliens and the fallen angels, and whether all of the angels that were fallen or
Ooh,
aliens that are here are all fallen angels. And oh yeah, we need to talk about that.
You
Here's
know,
yeah, there was
the
something I wanted to
beauty
say
of
about that.
the beauty of what you all are saying right now is this, that when we're not doing this and we're all having conversations, they're
Mhm.
not surrounded with Mike or anybody else for that matter. We're
Mm-mm.
literally pondering and talking about real research and real knowledge and what do we know, and you know do we know this person that has that, and we know that person has this, and we get into some in-depth conversations. Me and Jessica can go for hours and hours and never mention Mike or anybody else. It's literally all about the stuff
Geeking
we
out.
should be talking about. Yeah, geeking out on the stuff that makes us
Hmm.
geek out. And
Exactly.
and that's what I'd like to say that to the viewers right now, because to them they may think, oh, is this all these people think about? Is this all these people talk about? No, actually not. We're just being very transparent on the things that we do say amongst ourselves. We're willing to say and share to all of you, to all of you viewers. You can hear what we're saying, what we're thinking, what we're pulling together, what we're piecing together, because so many parts of all of this start falling into place, and you can sit there and watch that happen. It's not like we planned this out. We don't have a skit that we're going off of. We don't have a screenwrite that we sat back and wrote for weeks on end. No, he's literally the last thing that comes to our minds, the last thing that we worry about. I mean, when me and Jess went out a couple of weeks ago, which I'm so looking forward to going out again next weekend, uh, he was never mentioned, and
Mm-mm.
we had a ball.
Mhm.
And we're gonna have more times like that. And I just want all of you all that are listening to, if you get caught up in situations like this with online bullies and people like that, you can always come to any one of us, because we've got experience in dealing with it.
Hmm.
We can help guide you in a way that will get your mind away from the bully and stuff. Get your mind on real everyday things, the stuff you geek out on. But the number one thing you need to geek out on is God. You
Mhm.
need to find God. You got to bring him in your life. If you want to be able to battle this stuff and come out on the other side and have your sanity and not worry about what people are thinking, because we really don't care. We
Mhm.
don't care what those people think, because the only one that really matters to us is the guy upstairs. That's the
Yep.
guy we got to please. You know,
And
Hmm.
to a certain extent, we please our families. To a certain extent, we please our friends, and we stay loyal to them, and we help them, and we love them. And people like Larry Joe Fisher, he gives us a good example of what true Christians are like and how they help your brother and sister. But
mhm.
it goes above that and beyond that. You owe it to yourself to get in touch with God. You owe it to yourself to get in that situation where you're not pulled away from it to the point that you're exhausted, losing a job, and all the things that Jessica found herself in. I mean, she was just so exhausted and consumed by this other person and their problems that it became her problem. And when other people's problems start to become your problem and starts to saturate your life, you need to stop and really take accountability for yourself and ask yourself, what would Jesus do?
Mhm.
Is this serving me? Is this serving God? Is this doing right? That's what you need to do. You need to take into yourself, meditate on yourself a little bit, and get in touch with God and ask yourself, am I in the right here? Am I putting somebody else's needs before my own and my God? If your answer is yes, then you're in the wrong place and you need to back that person up. Maybe you not, I mean, not back them up in a good way. I mean, you need to back them off. You need to
Yeah.
just come out and say, look, you are starting, I love you as an individual, but you are starting to mess with my sanity, and you're starting to get into what is harming in my life. And this is what they are, blank, 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 blank. And give them accountability and a chance to make that accountability, a chance to say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize I was doing that to you. And if they
Mhm.
can't do that, then you need to get out of that toxic relationship, whatever it is, friendship,
Hmm.
kinship,
Work relationship.
work relationships, you name it.
Mhm.
If it is to the point it is harming you or your life in some way, and you bring it to their attention and they cannot take accountability, that person is basically a POS, and you need to get rid of them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
everything we've been having a talk about, in these different lives that we've been doing, that is the message that we really want to bring to you. We don't want to turn anybody against anybody. We want to open your eyes and say, maybe you're not seeing all aspects of this person that has literally been sucking some of us dry. I mean, or ruining our reputations, or going after us in bullying manners. Because cyberbullying ultimately is a federal offense. And what Mike McGee did yesterday by calling Jess and threatening her and bullying her and trying to bend her to his way, yet here we are months later, and she's had no contact with him. Trust me, I know my friend has had no contact with him because she'll give herself milestones and say, "Hey, it's been this amount of time, and I'm doing good." I'm the person that hears that side of her, and I'm here telling all of you, no matter what he says about her, how he goes around saying that, oh, she was the one wanting me, and oh, she's the one that's been contacting me. He's lying. It's a complete lie, because I'm on the other side of that, standing here with Jess, and I know for a fact what goes on with her, because I've also been the person to say, just, I don't care what time of day it is. If you feel the need to reach out to him, or you have a weak moment, call me, dial me up. I don't care what time of day it is, what time of night it is. You do that. Text me. I'm there for you. She has done that. She has reached out. She's like, oh, I'm feeling a certain kind of way. And, I'll hear her out, and then I'll help redirect her. And don't be feeling guilty because you called this person out on truth and showed everybody what the untruth was. Don't do that. You are being transparent. You are protecting yourself and what's yours. This time, she has a really great job. She doesn't need to lose that job because he's calling her constant, constant, constant.
Hmm.
She does not need her life going down the tubes to join the unemployed like him.
Well,
She don't need to move in with her parents to make life work. She's got a roof over her head that she bought,
Hmm.
that she takes care of. That's the difference between a successful person and a non-successful person. And if you don't have the discernment to look in comparison at who's got their shit together and who doesn't, well, then, that's on you all. That's on
Hmm.
you.
well, and
There's
I
another thing too. No, go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say, and I have to think back about a few things too. Is that when I started working again, it was in October. Between October and November, I was in training, so there was still opportunity and still times for me to get phone calls and talk and be available to him. Towards the end of November into December, I became less and less available to him during the day. And I would say it was probably mostly in December in which I started to see this pattern of things falling apart.
Hmm.
If he would call or message and I didn't get back to him immediately because I was working, when the time came that I would reach out to him, he was unavailable. And I was talking to him less and less. And I knew that by me being unavailable to him at any given moment in time that he wanted somebody available, he would find somebody else to give him that attention. And lo and behold, as admitted through the messages and the conversations, he had somebody else made available to him, and they went in for it. Now, I am praying that what is happening is true and that Kristen has woke up and has discovered this and she is keeping her distance from him. I pray that Amanda wakes up and realizes this and is very cautious, because I really do fear for her. She is a sweet, sweet, wonderful girl, and I am so sorry I ever suggested that he make her a co-host. Um, Not because I don't like her, but because I do like her and I really do fear for her. But where he has this obsession with constant attention and all of this other stuff, and constantly having people talking about him and worried about him, it's funny because in the last 2 months, yes, it was difficult and hard for me to break off of something. He consumed my life. It's hard. It's hard for anybody who has had anybody that knows that has had anybody or persons in their life that has consumed their lives. It is difficult to break that away. And was it because I was so obsessed and in love with him? No, it was because he made himself a part of my life, and I allowed it. So, that's kind of what I have to say about that. Sorry. Go ahead, Cliff.
What I also want to say is that we have to already just accept the fact that no matter what we do out here on YouTube or Facebook or whatever, we're gonna have our stalkers regardless.
Mm-hmm.
Whether if it's one side or the other. I mean, what was it just last year with my ex? Well, they went and checked out her profile. No reason to do so, but this person did. And why? Because they wanted to get updates. What's going on? And safe to assume because they couldn't go through my profile because my profile is private. They went in there, and of course, this particular person, we know who it is.
So we decided, or I decided, to end that recording that conversation at that moment. There, new information had been brought to light in regards to the subject and topic of where he was going. I decided at that point to inform Clough, and we had made a decision to continue where we had left off. Unfortunately, I hadn't started recording again until after we were well into the conversation, and honestly forgot where we had left off, so decided to further go into the third part of what I'm calling this little series of Chaos Connection, which is the phone call conversation that Mike actually called on the 4th and attempted to blackmail me. So if you are interested in listening to that breakdown, the next video, the third portion, is actually Shell Clough and I discussing and going over that phone call. The final and fourth part of this section series will be the actual phone call in its entirety, minus the names of those in which Mike tried to make accusations and accuse people of doing things that were untrue, making things out to be something they were not. And I will further go through all of that in the third section, and then you can listen to it in its entirety. So thank you for being here. I hope you actually got something out of this, learned something from this, and if anything, be careful who you watch, be careful who you donate to, be careful who you trust, because honestly, you can talk to somebody for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for 2 years, and you still not know who they are. It's a sad world we live in. Take care. Good night. God bless.